Dr. K. Help the Trojan horse to stay on the air. Because that's what I want to do. Folks, I want to just talk to you in this last little bit of time I have left. I want to talk about love. I know we've talked about lynching, we've talked about blackface. I think we need to end on a high note because the things you love are the things that you support. I would take the chance, and I don't think I'm wrong, to say that you love this show. You may not love me, in my opinion, all the time, but you love the fact that we have a platform. And I think that you love my Trojan horse analogy because I have a couple of folks texting me, calling me Trojan horse now. Yeah, I'm a Trojan horse. 410-319-8888 because I'm showing up in space and all of my blackness is showing up with me. All of my womanness is showing up with me in this space at this moment with no apology, with no exception. I show up in the space, kick in the door because that's what we as Black women do. We show up, we show off, we take over the space because our voice matters. But here's the deal. In order for the voice to matter, we have to have you. 410-319-8888. I only need 6 people to call right now. Sow a seed of $200 because if I don't make my goal today, then this show will not continue because there's no way I can go on the hole today and dig myself out tomorrow. Come on, I'm not that kind of person. We don't lose on this show. Thank you so much. We have Theotis coming in at $100. Thank you, sir. This is what we're looking to do. I need now, at this moment, I need 5 people to come in at $200. 54 cents a day is what I'm talking about. If you do that, we make our goal for today and we've got 1 day left to push. Now, I can start giving you all kinds of stories about my childhood and I can talk to you about running through the dirt woods of South Carolina. I can do all of that. Or I can just keep it real. Because right now, this show will not continue without your help. I need you. And you're probably thinking, well, is Dr. K talking to me? I'm talking directly to you. I'm talking to you, teachers. I'm talking to you, parents. I'm talking to you, church folks. I'm talking to you. I spend time all over this city, whether I'm teaching Sunday school on Sundays, visiting schools, whether I'm doing my classes as professor, whether I'm going out with my kids. You see me all the time, everywhere. You tell me you enjoy this show. Well, you know what? Show me you enjoy it. I need 5 people only to sow a seed of $200. 54 cents a day is all I'm asking for. And if I do that, then my show will remain. Thank you. Janice Smith is coming at $200. But folks, I just need 4 more. 4 more people to come in and to sow a seed of $200. And if you do that, then we are out of the hole and this show will not go dark. Because if we make our goal today, we will definitely make our goal tomorrow. It starts today. It starts here. It starts now. And it starts with you. 410-319-8880. I only need 4 more people to come in and to sow a seed of $200. That's all I need. If I get 4 more people, I have made my goal. Folks, I've got 11 minutes. I don't even know how we've gotten to this point. We only have 11 minutes left to sow the seed. So why don't we talk about love? Because maybe I need to remind you that when you love something, you don't want it to go away. You know what, Charlie? Why don't you play 8497? Let's hear Will Smith talk a little bit about love.
First night with Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
With 15 minutes, I was like, yo, me and that dude can create.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? I just feel it and I know it when somebody is right for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
First night I met Alfonso.
Yeah.
Like we were playing, I was like, me and that dude are magic.
Right.
When I saw you on Different World, it was that thing. And I don't know what it is that the bell rings And I knew that there was something in our energy that would be magic.
So that's Will Smith on the Red Table. I think you've seen that show. It's Will and Jada Smith. But he said that when he first saw Jazzy Jeff, he knew there was something special. They were going to make good music together. And when he first saw Alfonso on the set of Fresh Prince, he knew they were going to make good TV together. He said that when he first saw Jada, he knew they were going to have a good life together. He recognized that. Folks, I'm going to take a leap out here. I'm going to say that's how you felt the first time you heard this show. Now, you may have listened to it the first day, wonder, okay, what's happening? Who is this person coming at 3:00? Because when I listened yesterday, I heard one thing. Who is this woman coming in here talking about her life and sharing her stories and telling us that we need to have conversations that matter, telling us that we need to center who we are in the middle of the space because our voices matter. Who is this woman who's walking out and marching with our kids and going into the schools? Who is she? And how come we haven't heard about her before? I think I'm going to give her a little try and see what happens. And we started dating, which I appreciate. Well, we started dating. We got engaged during the spring pledge drive because you sold into the show. I need you to marry the show right now. I need you to make a commitment to this show. I am still looking for 4 people, just 4 people to come in with $200, and this show will make the go. We have Darrell. Darrell has come in at $200. 3 more to go. Thank you so much, Darrell. We have Gwen. Gwen has come in at $50. Thank you so much, Gwen. Folks, I'm down. I got 3 more people that I need. 3 more only to come in with a donation of $200. You can break it up in 2 payments. You can give me $100 now, $100 later. You can do $10 a month if you so choose. But $200 is 54 cents a day. And believe it or not, you're probably thinking she's asking for pennies. I am, because every little bit counts. You can't lift the whole boulder by yourself. So I'm asking everyone to pick up a nail and a hammer and nail. Pick up a piece of wood and put that on the side. We can raise this house together if we lean in. I just need 2 more people to call in right now with $200 pledges, and we need 1 person with $150. Meet Gwen, because Gwen has already given $50. You give $150, I'm already with number 3. We can do this together. I have someone here. Anita is checking in right now, sending love from Australia. Folks, this show gets viewed all over the world. We have people from Nova Scotia who see the show. People have given money from South Carolina. People have given money from Vancouver. I'm talking to folks who are right here. You need to lean in with me. The show's going to go dark if we don't make our money. Thank you so much. Jimmy's come in. Jimmy's at $200. Folks, we need 1 more person to sow a seed of $200 and 1 person to sow a seed of $150. That is what we need. If we make our goal today, at this moment, I'd like to think that we're not thinking about tomorrow, right? So if you're a church-going person, the Bible talks about give no thought of tomorrow. I can't talk about tomorrow. I can't think, well, tomorrow's going to come and I'm going to make my goal plus. And if I make my goal plus, then I'll make up for what I didn't make today. I don't operate like that. As Black women, we don't operate in deficit. We operate going from a place of strength. We operate with agency. I am not going to go away defeated because I know that my listeners and my viewers will lift this show up and carry it 1 more day. We need 1 person coming in at $200 and 1 coming in at $150. Thank you. Yaya is coming in at $100. We now need 1 person to come in at $200 and 1 person to come in at $50. Think about that, folks. When we're now at the pennies level, and you're probably thinking, if you know me, I can't believe Dr. K at this point is still going. I'm not going to be embarrassed. You know why? Because this show matters to me. Having Black voices represented on the air matters to me. Having a Black woman to have a space to share matters to me. Dolores comes in at $100. I'm still $150 down. I cannot believe that at this point, people are not pulling over and grabbing what they need in order to do it. Wait a minute. I have got to say right now, you need to come in and push hard, because let's be clear, Black women, We don't operate in deficit. We operate from strength. We operate with agency. We operate with power. When I say I'm a Trojan horse for you. When you want to get your ideas out, you call on me. When you want me to stand in my power, you call on me. We don't operate from deficit. I will not, in this day, I'm not going to relinquish this chair. I'm telling Mallory Pinkett Pierre right now, my station manager, that if I have to chain myself to this chair, and I'm going to grab my producer, Justina, she'll chain herself to the other chair, but we will not relinquish these chairs until we meet our goal, because we understand and we know that as Black women in America, if nothing else we need to do is we need to control the airways and have our voice go forward. So I need to thank some people. I want to thank Shantae Branch. Shantae has come in at $100. Thank you, Shantae. I want to thank Jackie Smith. Jackie Smith is coming in at $200. And I want to thank folks are coming in. Earl Smith is coming at $100. Thank you so much, Earl. And I want to thank George Wayford. George Wayford. Chef George is coming in at $500. Folks, this is how we do it. This is how we win. As we wrap up here, this is why I do this show. I do this show because our voice matters. I do this show because you are listening. I do this show because even if I don't know you, I love the fact that we are struggling together. I remember my dad taught me that story about the man who was walking with his son. They saw all the fish that had driven up on the beach, and that the father began to pick up one of the fish and toss it back in the water. You may have heard this story before. It was one of my favorite stories as a child. And the little boy said to his daddy, "Daddy, I don't understand. You can't save all the fish." And the father simply picked up the next fish, tossed him in the water, and said, "You know what? I can save this one." So folks, you may not be able to save every fish, may not be able to do this, but you can save this one. 410-319-8888. Thank you. Pamela Fitch just came in at $200. This is how we win. This is Today with Dr. K. I'm Dr. K. Wise Whitehead. I will be here tomorrow because you gave today. Thank you so much. Gretchen came in. That's the $50 I was looking for. You can still call. I'm going to move on. I'm going to answer the phone until 5 o'clock. This is Today with Dr. K. I'm Dr. K. Wise Whitehead. Keep it here for the Culture with Faraji. Folks, we can do this. Here's a quick update from MTA. And wait a minute. I have to thank, I think, Miss Barnes coming in at $150. Thank you so much, Miss Barnes. Keep giving. I love you, folks. Talk to you tomorrow.
And a good evening. We've got some local link bus diversions because of a broken water main. That's the number 79 diverted eastbound at Tucker and Dickey Hill. 79 westbound diverted at Forest Park and Windsor Mill. 79 and 34 diverted westbound because of construction. That's at Forest Park and Carlview. 79 and 34 eastbound diverted at Forest Park and Hillsdale. And buses 89, 83 southbound diverted at Reicherstown Road and Sutterbrook Lane. No problems on the MTA commuter buses. The light rail link is reporting on-time status. No issues with the Metro subway link. For the MTA Transit Team, I'm Ken Berger on 88.9 FM WEAA, the voice of the community.
Support for WEAA is provided by
Kaiser Permanente of Mid-Atlantic States, presenting Kaiser Permanente Day at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum Saturday, October 27th, 10 a.m. to 4. Healthy cooking and fitness demonstrations, seminars promoting mental health, soul yoga, meditative dance, Zumba, and more. A day of fun for the entire family. Kaiser Permanente Day at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, October 27th. More info, including RSVP, to skip the line at kp.org.
and members like you. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brittany Fauntlery, and we here at WEAA need your help. This week is our fall pledge drive, and we're looking for support from you, our listeners, because you are truly the voice of the community as well. So if you wouldn't mind just giving us a call at our new number, 855-932-2889, or you can also donate on weaa.org. Thank you all for the support. Keep listening.
Celebrating 40 years of broadcasting, Morgan State University Public Radio, 88.9 WEAA FM and HD1, Baltimore.
In Washington, I'm Jack Spear. New York City officials are hailing a security guard who alerted police to the discovery of yet another suspicious device at actor Robert De Niro's office in Manhattan. The discovery, along with 2 packages intended for former Vice President Joe Biden that were found in Delaware, bring to 10 the total number of packages intercepted by authorities. Bill Sweeney's assistant director of the New York FBI field office.
We are working quickly to process and analyze relevant information from the suspicious packages recovered over the last few days. We will continue to do so for as long as it takes and until there is a resolution. This is a nationwide investigation involving multiple jurisdictions coast to coast.
All of the package bombs appear to have come from the same sender, targeting either Democratic politicians or those critical of administration policies. President Trump has denounced the attempted bombing, but on Twitter has also attacked the media, blaming news organizations for the anger we see in our society. The Trump administration wants to reduce what Medicare pays for some expensive cancer and arthritis drugs. NPR's Allison Kojak reports the administration is proposing changes designed to bring those costs in line with what patients in Europe and other countries pay.
Trump says he's tired of people in other countries paying less than Americans for prescription drugs.
For decades, other countries have rigged the system so that American patients are charged much more.
Economists disagree that American prices today are linked to prices in Europe. But in a speech at the Department of Health and Human Services, Trump offered a plan that would formally tie what Medicare pays to the lower prices paid in other rich countries. The plan relates only to drugs that patients receive in hospitals or at doctor offices. HHS says the proposal, if implemented, could save Medicare more than $8 billion. Allison Kojak, NPR News, Washington.
U.S. stock markets rebounded sharply today, regaining some of the ground they lost in yesterday's sell-off. As NPR's John Itzty explains, some positive quarterly earnings reports helped propel stocks higher.
Strong results from Microsoft, Twitter, and Tesla helped the markets bounce back. The Dow was up more than 1.5%. The S&P 500 rebounded nearly 2%, and the Nasdaq added back nearly 3%. Consumer discretionary, technology, and communication shares led the markets higher. The comeback helped the Dow and the S&P 500 return to positive territory for the year after they gave up all their yearly gains and more on Wednesday. Despite the rebound, investors continue to be unsettled by a number of factors, including rising interest rates and trade tensions with China. John Itzty, NPR News, Washington.
Taking a look at the individual numbers, the Dow ended the session up 401 points to 24,984. The Nasdaq gained 209 points today. You're listening to NPR.
Dundalk Avenue at Holabird Avenue. Watch for the accident activity in Dundalk. Reported 2 vehicles involved there. Harford Road near Falston Road. Accident there with police and fire department and units on the scene. York Road near Timonium Road at Land Street. Watch for that accident wrapping up. North Warwick Avenue at West North Avenue. Another accident clearing in the city, as well as an accident cleaning up in Parkville. Putty Hill Avenue at Kings Ridge Road. Smith Avenue near Old Pimlico Road. Watch for the accident activity, as well as an accident cleaning up on Bel Air Road at Bradshaw. Around the JFX northbound, starting to see some slowdowns now from North Avenue heading up to Falls Road, and again from Ruxton Road on to 695. Northbound 795, now a slow trip leaving 695, heading up through Owings Mills Boulevard. Westbound on 70, slow leaving 695, getting through 29 in Ellicott City. Eastbound, about a half-mile delay getting onto the ramp to the Beltway. This update is service of unbound.org, and for more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Paula Young with your Baltimore area traffic.
88.9 FM reminds you that the views expressed on WEAA programs are those of participants and not necessarily those of Morgan State University, the staff, management, or underwriters of Baltimore's home for cool jazz. WEAA 88.9 FM.
I do this for my culture. I do this for my culture.
Peace. Welcome to Culture right here on your source for cool jazz and more. WEAA 88.9 FM and WEAA.org. Absolutely the voice of the community. I'm your host, Faraji Muhammad. Thank you so much for checking in and riding with me this evening, folks. All right. We are in another fantastic day of our fall pledge drive. This is an opportunity for you to show your support and to show why it's important for you to support WEAA, particularly why it's important for you to support For the Culture here on WEAA. Tonight, we're going to have some great conversations, but I got a special guest co-host riding with me tonight. She is really no stranger to the airways of For the Culture here on WEAA, but she is, normally we talk to her over the phone. But tonight, she decided to take the time out of her super busy schedule of being herself to be a part of tonight's conversation and to be a part of our fall pledge drive. We have our sister Bakari Jones is in the building.
What's going on?
Bakari has been doing some fantastic work within the LGBTQ community. She's got an upcoming program. Have you guys heard of the program called Her Sweet Release? We'll talk a little bit with Bakari about that. Plus, I want to get some Bakari's take on what's happening around the country with Black people.
Right.
Can we talk about Black people right now?
Of course.
We can't talk about Black folks. So
For
we're
the
going to get
culture.
into that conversation. But more importantly, folks, I want to get into an opportunity to extend the opportunity where you can pledge your support for the culture here on WEAA. 1-855-WEAA-889 is the big number. 1-855-WEAA-889. Yesterday, we came on and we wanted to just talk about the important, great need to support Black media. And that hasn't changed, folks. That has not changed one bit at all. And so tonight, we're looking forward. We're in the fourth day of our fall pledge drive here on For the Culture. Tomorrow will be the final day, but I need your support. And I know that you've been supporting Dr. K. You've been supporting my wonderful colleagues on the morning show, and Sandy Mallory and Brother Robert Shaheed. And it's important that you support all of them. But I need your support for the culture tonight. That's what I need. I need that support. I need that, as they say, right? I need that for real, for real. Like, I need that level of support tonight, because if I don't get that level of support, folks, then the programming that we really want to do can't be done. The outreach, being in the streets that we want to do, can't be done. Public assistance, not government, folks. We get public assistance, not government assistance. So tonight, we're going to have a great conversation. But again, I need your support. 1-855-WEAA-889. You remember yesterday, I said this yesterday, I'm not going to beg anybody for something that's good. Bakari, we don't beg.
We don't do that.
No, we do not beg. What we do, though, we inspire. We inspire. And our hope and prayer is really that we inspire you enough to understand, to see the value of this particular platform, to see the value of the conversations, to see the values of our guests and contributors like Bakari Jones and many others that we have brought on the airwaves, to have a very extensive conversation, but more importantly, to have a conversation that is truly representative of the community that we're in. We don't have conversations in a vacuum, folks. I'm personally tired of having those type of conversations, those vacuumed based conversations like we're the only people that live in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. We are not the only people that live in the world. And I'm saying whether you are Black, whether you're white, Asian, Latino, gay, lesbian, doesn't matter. If you are from America, not from America, we're not the only people that live in the world. We are not the only people. What we do, though, is need to have some conversations to really emphasize the diversity of what we bring to the table, the diversity. And that's the important part about this. That's the important part, the diversity of what we do here on For the Culture. Bakari, we've had some fantastic conversations over these past few days. You know, and I know you've been checking in on our Facebook page. You know, we've talked to, we had this great conversation with Marcus Black yesterday from Love and, what is that? Hip hop show, the reality show.
Love and Hip Hop?
Love and Hip Hop.
Okay,
There it
okay.
is. There it is. But Marcus brought a different level of conversation to this situation. And we had such I think, a very important conversation with him outside of the fact of him being a reality show star.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck with me because for him, as I think for me, he told us afterwards, folks, that that was one of the best conversations that he's had.
Oh, wow.
In terms of interviews. It was not just the normal Hollywood
surface
level. What's up with you and Brooke type of conversation. I want to go deeper. Bakari, now I know we probably scratched the surface of how your depth.
I'm flattered. I'm flattered.
I'm saying real talk, folks. We haven't really scratched the surface of the depth that Bakari Jones and others have really brought to can bring to the table to give us an understanding. So this is why this is important for us to do our part to make sure that these platforms and that the next generation leaders, right, myself and Bakari, many others who are out there, have a platform by which we can share our insight about the world in a way that is truly beneficial for all. So give us a call, 1-855-WEAA-889, 1-855-WEAA-889. And I thank y'all for your donations before you even donate. That's what I'm going to do. Plus, the offer is still out there, folks. $100 that you can sit down with me and I can give you a consultation session about what I can do to help you improve your nonprofit, your startup organization. I want you to hit me up with that $100 and I can sit down for real. We could break bread. We could find a nice place and we can have those real conversations. I can sit down with you and your leadership team. I'll sit down with your board of directors. I'll sit down with your volunteers, but I will extend the great lessons that I've learned by working in the nonprofit sector for just $100. Normally I charge people thousands.
Commas in there. I heard some commas.
It is commas in there. But tonight and for the rest of the week, I'm saying, you know what? We're going to cut it down and we're going to make it truly, truly for the people, because For the Culture is all about being for the people. So 1-855-WEAA-889 is the number to check in with your donations. All right, folks. Bakari Jones, how are you this evening?
I am fantastic. Can I just start off by saying that's amazing that you are like putting your own services on the line. I really, no, for real. Like, I really appreciate that, you know?
We have to.
I really appreciate it. And I think one of the things I like about For the Culture the most is that, you know, the phrase or the saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get into another room. I think that for me as a listener to For the Culture, I feel like Faraji puts us as listeners in so many different rooms. You have such a like wide variety of people that you bring onto the show that even if you don't agree with, you know, whoever is the guest of the day, the week, you know, whatever, I always walk away from that show, any show, feeling like, okay, well, at least I know something that I didn't know before. You know what I mean? And I think that in 2018, going into 2019, it's all about like, how do we develop our competitive edge? And one of the ways that I think you do that, especially we do that as Black people, is by learning about a vast, you know, array of topics. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Bakari Jones is doing that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think it's important for us to understand why having that platform, having those conversations are very important. I've learned a lot from you. Matter of fact, I was talking to you yesterday as I was leaving out of a function last night, and I was talking to some brothers that I know, and I brought you up into the conversation because I think, and I really, truly respect you as a person, but for the work that you're doing within the LGBTQ community. And it's gotten me, it raised my consciousness. Because to see things and understand things and to be more multifaceted. And I think that in today's time, it's very, very easy for us to kind of go into our own comfort zone and our own little space, and then to try to sit there and then act as if like that space
We're
is
just in
the
a
only
bubble.
space.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel the same about our relationship. Faraji and I met, I don't know how many years ago, but through the Black Youth Project. And
I think that was
just
when Trayvon Martin was murdered.
Right. And that was right before
that was 2000. I want to say 2000. Well, no, it was 12, right?
12.
I want to say 2012, and we were gathered in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we were
That's
gathered,
wild.
and we were Bakari and I were the founding members of the Black Youth Project 100. If you are familiar with them, they're an organization that does a ton of work within Chicago and across the country. Chapters have been popping up across this country, organizing, galvanizing young people, Black millennials in particular, Black and brown millennials, organizing from various elements and sections of the community. And Bakari and I had an opportunity to be a part of that initial gathering that birthed the Black Youth Project
in
100.
Chicago, though. Like we met in Chicago. We hadn't met before in
We-
Baltimore, and then met for the
And
first
then
time in Chicago.
I found out she was from Baltimore, and I was like, "For real?" And
Right.
she was like, "Yeah, you're in
Right.
Baltimore." I was like,
Because it was
yeah.
I don't think there was anybody else from Baltimore that was there. It was just the two of us.
Just the
But
two
I
of
think the thing that's dynamic about Faraji is that I feel like we're both Black, but queer Black woman, straight Black man, who's a proud member of the Nation of Islam, right?
Yeah.
We have, I would say on surface, every reason to just assume we wouldn't vibe. Right.
Oh, right.
But I'm
right.
like, we vibe on so many different topics. Like we've been able to just have conversations
tell
about
you
so
something.
many different things.
Let me tell you something, folks. The reality is Bakari is a thinker. And that's what initially jumped out to me about you. I remember us having a conversation in the airport. We were leaving Chicago, and I was just sitting there. I was blown away. I was like, this sister here.
We had a good talk in the airport.
It's a thinker. Like she is a real thinker. Let me tell y'all something, folks. You may not think that Baltimore produces giants, but I'm here to tell you, this city produced giants.
You better speak that word.
I'm telling you. And it doesn't matter from what part of the city. And Bakari can certainly share with you her personal background, her life story. But I'm serious. I was blown away. And I told myself, and I remember getting on the plane, I said, you know what? She is someone special. She's going to be great. Like, I think I have an eye for greatness. You know how you always
I would
think
say that. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that you do,
I think I have but then you really meet people, and you know how some people you're like, nah, man, I need to stay in touch with them. I need to kind of always try to link them in some way, shape, or form. Because not even just and like you said, it's on the surface, you might be like, oh, I'm telling you, when y'all talk to the sister, she brings a level of depth and understanding and compassion to the work and to the works that she's doing, but to the understanding of Black people in this country. And that's where we need to start at. I think that's an important part. You have, Bakari, a level of compassion that is oftentimes missing in these very, very highly delicate, sensitive conversations, the level of understanding.
Thank you.
And even as you come on here, I'm serious. I'm not a confrontational guy, but when we talk about the struggle of the LGBTQ community, that's a conversation you already know.
Right.
It can go left in 2 minutes.
Woo. Yeah, because the last time we talked about the Miss America.
Right. It can go left in 2 minutes. But the reality is that unless you have a certain spirit in which to be at the source of that conversation, then we're never going to have the conversation. I think we've all are at that space, and I think there's a high level of fear. There's a high level of misunderstanding, miscommunication, right?
Absolutely.
But then I think the greatest element that's missing from those conversations is the human element.
Right.
At the end of the
compassion
day,
and that empathy.
you're talking about human beings.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it.
So when we talk about having a platform that's for the culture, how can we deny the culture and the voice of the LGBTQ community, considering all that our people have gone through. But the fact is, that's the lifestyle and that's the community that so many of our brothers and sisters are a part of, and have made tremendous gains, right? In various spaces. And I mean, not just talking about the civil rights issue. I'm talking about just tremendous gains.
Right. We're just pushing the culture forward, and I mean, it's fitting because we're on for the culture, but there's so many nuanced aspects of Black culture, right, that bubble up out of queer culture. So, for example, right, when people say yes, and right on my coins, or like
Wait
some
a
of
minute,
these,
are you telling me those?
yes, look, yes, even those are some of the things that that literally have come out of Black queer spaces.
Really?
And so, yes, right. So there's some of those parts that and it's, if nothing else, it's like, well, we need to at least be able to have a conversation about the language that we're using. That's
right.
That's coming out of this space, but we don't. It's like we want to kind of have just half of the conversation. We want to use the language, but then we don't want to talk about where it comes from. And it's such an interesting space, right? So it's like, from this queer culture, you have different terms that bubble up and then make their way into mainstream culture. And then we know that there are things within Black culture that make their way into mainstream American culture, right? So like I can't remember which Kardashian, I don't keep up with them, but one of the Kardashians that had cornrows, right? And it was controversial. Was it Kim?
I think it was Kim.
So Kim had cornrows, and it's like, oh, well, she doesn't understand the historical context of these cornrows. But then we have Black people who don't understand. I mean, it's not necessarily, like far back into history, because it's still within a pop culture realm, but it's still terms that came out of the queer community. And these are people who embrace the language, but don't embrace the person. It's kind of like when I feel like growing up in the church
is that a form of cultural appropriation?
I think you could probably make the argument that it is. It's that, like, growing up in the church, right? You hear that, when people say, I hate the sin, but love the sinner, that type of thing, where it's like, we're going to use the language, but leave the gay person, leave the queer person off to the side. I kind of think of it in that same context, right? So even if it just boils down to how we're using language. So that's something that's random that I think that, a lot of listeners may not know, all types of
deep.
different,
That's real deep.
So
no, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've heard so many people use that language, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. I mean, it's language, so it crops up, it evolves, right? But then to hear that it originated from the queer community is like, wow, and we've embraced it, like. For real.
Yeah, it's on T-shirts and bags and coffee mugs.
That's right. All right. Well, speaking of being on your coins,
come on.
We need to raise some coins.
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna do our part here. All right. So make sure. Look, we're gonna take a quick pause. When we come back, we're gonna continue to chop it up with Bakari Jones. Also, I need to make sure that you understand the value of what we're doing here. I want you to hit me up right now. 855-WEAA-889. 1-855-WEAA-889. Let me know. If you want to just pose a couple of questions, as we got our special guest co-host, Sister Bakari Jones, in the building. Hit us up, 410-319-8888, 410-319-8888. I'm going to have a very lively conversation with Bakari, because we got to talk about what we've been seeing here. Speaking of pop culture, seeing all of the things. I mean, race in America is absolutely just at the forefront.
It's Bakari, about to be Halloween now.
You know what? Here's the funny part. The irony is, as much as we're talking about race, we're not talking about race.
It's being, just kind of brushed under the table.
It's like we're still skirting. We're still we're getting to a space of, okay, it's trendy to talk about the racial culture, but it's not as trendy to talk about racial history.
Right, because the history has all the ugly parts. We don't want to delve into all of that.
If we get into a racial culture conversation, then this is the absolute perfect moment to do and to educate some folks about the history of certain things. we're going to talk about it. Stay riding with us. A whole lot coming up in this first hour of For the Culture right here on your source for cool jazz and more. WEAA 88.9 FM and WEAA.org. Absolutely the voice of the community. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Nichols, student volunteer here at WEAA. Listen, we need your support to donate into our fund drive. You can donate at WEAA.org or call the number 855-WEAA-889.
Support for WEAA is provided by
Kaiser Permanente of Mid-Atlantic States presenting Kaiser Permanente Day at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum Saturday, October 27th, 10 a.m. to 4. Healthy cooking and fitness demonstrations, seminars promoting mental health, soul yoga, meditative dance, Zumba, and more. A day of fun for the entire family. Kaiser Permanente Day at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, October 27th. More info, including RSVP, to skip the line at kp.org.
and members like you. Thank you.
News headlines, events, podcasts, and more. WEAA.org.
Real talk. Peace and welcome back to For the Culture here on WEAA 88.9 FM and WEAA.org. Absolutely the voice of the community. I'm your host, Faraji Muhammad. Thank you so much for checking in and ride with me for this first hour. Folks, we are broadcasting live from the illustrious campus of Morgan State University. This is the campus that have birthed giants. And there are too many giants to name in the time that we have tonight. However, more importantly, this is also the campus that houses the great institution of WEAA and For the Culture. And as you know, as we've been talking about it all week, really there's no better way for us to have a conversation about anything that's happening within our community without having a platform to do it. So this is your platform. Tonight, we want to hear from you. You can give us a call at 1-855-WEAA-889. Again, that number is 1-855-WEAA-889. Also, if you want to join us in the conversation, you can join us at 410-319-8888. Now, let me just break it down for you, folks. The donations that you are able to give to us tonight, this will help us to do the programming, but it also will help us to do the outreach, to be out there in the community. We have been involved in the community, but we want to get more involved. We want to be that radio station that is out there. Bakari has another fantastic event of her sweet release that is going to be coming up before the end of the year. But we want to make sure like events like hers and many others are supported, that you come out and you see this WEAA table and, you know, you get to meet us and all of those things. So that is one of the things that you will be invested in. But also to make sure that we can bring the messages, these conversations, our very special guests, live and in living color, digitally, because that's the wave right now, folks. Radio stations have moved to the internet. So we need to make all of the upgrades for the studio and to ensure that messages, the conversations that we're having can be heard all around the world. Not just in Baltimore City, not just in Baltimore County. But then even more importantly, when you invest in WEAA, this is an opportunity for you to invest into a platform and an institution. But more importantly, when you invest in For the Culture, we're talking about cultural things. And I don't know any more perfect time than right now where this country is talking about culture, whether it's Black culture, American culture, global culture. There's no more perfect time than right now for us to have a conversation, to not just talk about the culture, to dissect it, to break it down, to understand its impact on us individually and, of course, on us collectively. When we say for the culture, we're talking about all facets of this multicultural society that we are living in right now. That includes the people, that includes conversations, that includes the opportunities, that includes what are the things that are on the horizon that will be the challenges that we need to prepare for. And what are the things that we can do to make sure that our culture doesn't work against our own self-interest. The biggest cultural issue that we have as a community is we love Black media. We're willing to look at Black media, listen to Black media, read Black media just a little bit more. But when it comes to supporting it, we question, Bakari. We question why. Why do I need to pay for a Black newspaper? Why do I need to pay for a Black radio show, a show on Black media? We have to pay for it. We have to pay for it. The commercials, quote unquote, that you hear on WEAA, these aren't just commercials. These are public service announcements, right? And these are underwriting clients, but these clients are providing a service to what? To empower the community, to add enrichment to the community. And so it's important that this platform is always well secure financially, so that way the platform can help to give life to all of the other entities that are really looking for the platform to live on that platform. So make sure y'all hit us up right now at 1-855-WEAA-889. That's not a sad occasion, folks. Don't make it a sad. It's not a sad. No. We're raising money because, you know, Bakari, when we raise money among folks, especially some Black folks, right? I can't speak about any other culture, but some Black folks, you know, it's a hard sell. No, it's not a hard sell. When you want to do something, you put your coins to the side to support whatever you want to do. You want to go down to Miami like all the other Baltimoreans?
Hey, you save up for it. That's what you do.
If you want to make that Baltimore trip down to Miami, right? You put your coins to the side.
Hey, if you want to come to Her Sweet Release,
you
put your coins to the side as well.
Put your coins to the side.
You know?
Because you put your coins to the side for the things that you want to do.
You do.
And you put your coins to the side for the things that you want to sustain. And so at the end of the day, if you feel like For the Culture speaks to you, it speaks about the conversations and has the conversation that we need to have, then I want you to give us a call right now. 1-855-WEAA-889. That's 1-855-WEAA-889. And I'm very surprised that I haven't heard from a lot of our normal callers. I'm very surprised because I know that when we have these very, very hot topics, there are a lot of folks that check in. But again, if you've already given, you say, look, I gave already, I understand. We're just asking you to just keep riding, just to dig a little bit deeper and to help us to reach our goal. All right. So again, 1-855-WEAA-889. All right, folks, we're going to switch gears and I need to get back into this conversation. We got a couple of folks that looks like they're on the line. We're going to just check in again. If you want to be a part of the conversation, as we have our very special guest co-host, Sister Bakari Jones is in the building, who is doing some great work in terms of advocacy, marketing, development. But she got her upcoming, she has her upcoming program. It's an event.
It's an event.
It's a major event. Talk to us a little bit about Her Sweet Release.
I'm hype about it.
Yeah.
The next one is going to be on New Year's Eve in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So, we decided to go south to that end in terms of marketing. We had a lot of people that traveled from Virginia, traveled from D.C. to come up to Baltimore for our first two events. And we decided to do a little bit more research on our zip codes and found out where people were coming from. They were actually traveling up from DC, so decided to kind of take it to them. Our next event, like I said, New Year's Eve. It's a little bit of everything, right? Because you kind of have this opportunity to get swagged out, right? It's an upscale event, so you have the opportunity to put on your cocktail attire to get extra fresh. I've already got fitted for my outfit, trying to
First
watch
thing,
my carbs.
you look fantastic.
Thank you so much.
At the
Trying to watch
last
my
joint.
carbs. You know how I do. I try to.
You said
I gotta watch my carb intake, because like Oprah, I'm like, I love bread, so I have to really just keep it tight. People have opportunity to get dressed. A lot of times in the LGBTQ community, we don't really have a lot of opportunities to get dressed up, so to speak. And I know for some folks that may not seem like a big deal, but when the only things you have to look forward to are weddings or funerals, I think it becomes imperative that your culture have an opportunity to celebrate with one another. So we had that opportunity. It's a DJ, it's past appetizers, live music, and one of the biggest selling points for us is that it's open bar.
Open bar.
It's open bar. So when you pay for your ticket in advance, you literally have carte blanche for the night. So you don't come out of your pocket unless you want to tip the bartenders for, making you a strong drink. We encourage everybody, of course, to drink responsibly.
Yeah.
And then we're hyped because we have a group rate at the Kempton Palomar, which is like a 5-minute walk from the venue.
Nice.
So for people that go down and, get jazzed up, and they are going to be able to go enjoy themselves responsibly and then not have to worry about driving, especially not driving in DC, because that traffic is bonkers.
Right.
So it's going to be a really nice time. Folks that came out to the last events will tell you the same. They had a really good time, and it's for Black women who love Black women. So there are no men in the spot at all. We do not play Robert Kelly at all.
Absolutely.
And it's just a really good time.
You're not
I think
flying that night, folks.
No, not happening. So I would say it's groundbreaking in that there aren't any upscale event series for this community. So one of the things that's profound to me is that like I'm a little bit of a nerd and have been doing research on hashtags and what's popular and what's trending, and there's so little data on our community. And so even to have had 2 events already, I'm getting the feedback from my community that this is something that needs to happen. It's something that's worthwhile, but there's no data, there's no research that kind of backs that up. So one of my sort of like personal goals is also just to bring people together and hopefully start having more conversations with folks about how do we track ourselves. Oftentimes the research that's done on our demographic is related to breast cancer or like cervical cancer. It's all related to some form of trauma.
Right.
So part of my work, I realized, is creating joy, like creating the happiness. I thought like growing up, it was going to be more somber and heavier, if you will, work, some of the more political work. But one of the spaces that I have found myself in is, and I would say, I'm realizing now, like, is the entertainment industry, and creating safe spaces, luxurious spaces for people to come and just celebrate themselves and kind of take a break from this America, and just, kick back for 4 hours and have a really good time. So yeah, if you are interested in coming, please reach out. Our website is hersweetrelease.com, Instagram, hersweetrelease, Facebook, email, all of that is
this is an event that for Black women?
For Black women who love Black women. And that includes lesbian women, but it also includes a good number of our allies as well. So I have friends that identify as straight that have come to the events, and for me, the dopest thing is them saying, I get it now. Like, I get why you need this space.
Yeah.
I understand what it would be like for 2 women
I dig it,
to
man.
just have a conversation and, love my brothers, but to have a conversation and not be approached or accosted, any of those things during the night. So
I dig it.
It's gonna be a good time.
So we got this is New Year's Eve.
It's New Year's Eve.
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
But you're gonna do something special for us tonight since it's our fall pledge drive.
Of course now. Come on.
So we're going in a few minutes, she's gonna release that special announcement, what she's going to do for her sweet release. So you want to stick around for that. But this is a dope event. And as you've been listening to Bakari talk about this, she's been on the show numerous times, but talking about why it's important for us to have these spaces, especially for that part of the community, and even for straight Black women. I get it, and I dig it. I truly dig it. Like, go ahead and have your space, And I think the best part of that process is to acknowledge the fact that, one, that you do need a space, but two, I mean, I feel like, Bakari, I don't know. I mean, I know your spirit runs deep. So in terms of the insight to say we are not tracking ourselves in triumph, not just in tragedy.
Right. So the stories that get told about us are, and we, need to hear the stories of like Stonewall, right? We need to hear these stories. But what ends up happening is that when we look back, it's only, assaults and arrests and memorials related to, people's death. And occasionally, you get some highlights, right?
Yeah.
When you have like the first fill in the blank. But I think it's really incumbent upon us to start doing more. And I'm passionate about data, so I'm actually on the prowl. If you are a data scientist, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be able to connect with folks that are in that space.
You know what? And I think this is it really hit me, because I think that by us living in such a technologically advanced time that we live in, that we would have thought that all the things that you needed to for society to kind of run smoothly has already been thought of. But it hit me when, during the rash of police violence against Black men, there is no data for that. And I mean,
there are folks that are building
on a federal level. There is no office that tracks police involved shooting of Black men. So, for example, the Washington Post keeps track of those things, but that's as their own individual entity.
Right. And there are people like building apps. Right. There are people that are building apps that have their own, personal projects, essentially.
Yeah.
Geared towards some of those things. But at the end of the day, it's like, if it doesn't matter to a lot of folks, or if it doesn't make them money, truthfully, then they're not going to track it.
So tracking data is like essentially being an archivist, right? It's like an historian.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another, it's interesting that you brought that up. There's actually an organization called the Black Lesbian Archives that we are hoping to be able to partner with for this New Year's Eve event to help us actually make a time capsule. And we want people to actually bring some of their physical, items. So whether it's like Rihanna's like makeup line, right? So whether you bring the empty Fenty lipstick, whatever the thing is that the lipstick comes in, I don't wear lipstick if you can't tell, but the thing that the lipstick comes in, if you come that, and bring that and put that into the time capsule, or you bring, a brush or whatever the case is, right? All these different aspects and these components that come together to create Black queer identity, Black lesbian identity. We want those things to be in a capsule, because again, being in a digital age, there's so much that's not archived physically anymore because it's all on our phones.
Right.
And so it's like, if you think about in the push of a button, what would be deleted from your phone?
Right.
And so there are some things that we're saying we want to be able to like have hard copies of some of these things,
especially given now. I mean, given now there are
the attempts at erasure.
Right. And the movement, especially for Black women, whether you are part of the queer community or not, the movement is the moving. I mean, the revolution is certainly being televised. It's been tweeted about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so, and I mean, and it's a spectacular thing to watch, especially from my vantage point as a Black male, to see these things happening, because I wasn't around for the women's suffrage movement.
Right.
But now we have this new age.
And it's like the history, how our history will be retold. I think we have an opportunity to this is a small way that we get to contribute. But I think about the Smithsonian in DC, right, where it's like, what would it look like to have a Black lesbian time capsule be donated to them in 50 years? You know what I mean? And it requires us to have that level of forethought about something like that, because I didn't see anything like Gladys Bentley is one of a performer, entertainer back in, I want to say the 20s, who was a Black woman, and she wore men's clothing, right? And so if you Google Gladys Bentley, just phenomenal aesthetic. But I don't know that those pieces of her history are being documented. So that's what those are the types of things that I care about. And there's so much more, I think, to her sweet release than just it being a party.
Absolutely.
So it's an opportunity for people to come together and actually bond with one another, have conversation. We do turn up, but it's also very intentional. We have really intentional conversation starters, opportunities for people to, what's your name? You know what I mean? Like I know you from Instagram, but now I'm seeing you in person, and I might need a little bit of extra courage, or like extra little bump to kind of go ahead and meet you.
That's so dope.
Yeah,
that
I'm
is so
excited about
dope.
it, man.
Bakari Jones, folks, ladies and gentlemen, doing some dope things. All right, some folks checking in, Bakari, that want to be a part of the conversation. 410-319-8888 if you want to be a part of the conversation. But if you want to donate, and I hope you do, hit us up at 1-855-WEAA-889. Let's go to Brother Daniel. Brother Daniel, thank you so much for checking in. What's on your mind, Brother Daniel?
Hey, brother, this is I commend my sister. She's a queen.
Thank you, brother.
Is beautiful. And hey, Faraji?
Yes, sir.
I was gonna buy some food stamps, but I made a donation instead.
Go ahead, man. Come on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Before we get excited, Brother Daniel, are you going to eat this week?
Oh, I'm a truck driver. I'm Trucker Dan, baby.
Okay.
He said he ain't got no problems. He ain't got no problems.
Come on, man.
Hey, look, man. I mean, I know this is an important cause, but I didn't want to literally take the food out your mouth.
Right.
Nah, man, it's all good. Hey, look, because I love you and Dr. K show and some other shows too. But the sister's hitting home because my co-worker just came to me some issues about, he just found out that his brother and uncle, they just came out the closet and said they was gay, and he's dealing with it. I said, man, love them. Ain't no big deal.
That's it.
I mean, you like women. Does anybody else in your family like women? He said, yeah, my sister. But anyway, it's a beautiful world, and God made everybody, man. Ain't no big deal. And I'm happy to donate, and I told you I would.
Hey, Brother Daniel, we happy to receive your
Daniel.
donation, but more importantly, I'm happy because of the spirit in which you're doing it in, brother. And the fact that you gave that guidance to your coworker, that's excellent guidance. Excellent guidance. So, Trucker Dan, thank you so much for checking in, brother. We appreciate you. Hey, Kenneth out of DC, talk to me, sir.
Hey.
What's up, brother Kenneth?
Hey, now I know that you guys got on the job training there, but y'all got some green apples.
What do you mean green apples?
I know, and I know. Wait a minute now, and I know that they're students and they're interns, but y'all got to take the time with them. I'll talk about that some other time. I don't want that to get.
Yes, sir, because that's eating into your time, Kenneth.
Hey, wait a minute, and listen. Where's all your philosophers and all your political brothers and all your
hey, Kenneth, you know what? I mean, that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Because again, hey, Kenneth, and I know that sometimes some of our conversations hit too close to home.
I told you that last week. But look, I'm going to donate $25, and I'm going to challenge.
How much you putting up, Kenneth? Hold on. How much you putting up?
25.
25.
All
25.
right,
so what we saying? Wait a minute. You putting up 25.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln.
I got you, Kenneth.
He got 5 5s on it. Okay.
You got 5 5s. Okay. So you challenging what else? Now, what's your challenge going to be, sir?
I'm challenging all the frequent callers, all the armchair philosophers, and
armchair. I love it.
And this is all in front. Don't get mad. Don't y'all beat me up when you see me at the 7-Eleven.
Hey, Kenneth, we ain't gonna beat you. I'm gonna just hug you, brother. But you're gonna put the challenge out there. You got 25 on the table.
And one more thing.
Yes, sir.
So invite some of the frequent callers to the studio and give a sightseeing tour or whatever.
Let me tell you how much that costs.
It's gonna run you a couple.
Let me tell you how much that costs. You want to come in on the show now? My colleague Dr. K, she put a price tag on it. She put a nice little price tag on it. She said $1,000. You can come in and you can help produce the show for the day for $1,000. I'm gonna do Prices Right style, $1,001, folks. We're gonna do something. But look, real talk, like you got to put a price tag on that, because having a platform that impacts hundreds of thousands of people like this is I mean, there's no real value on it. Like, you can't put a price tag on consciousness.
And plus, you get an autograph from you too, right?
Hey, oh man, we
the autograph is sold separately, or is that is it bundled together? How does that work?
Hey, Kenneth, that's why I love you, man. You're my man, Kenneth. Hey, Kenneth, but I like that. I appreciate you for your constant support, but more importantly, putting up that $25 to get get the ball rolling. $25 is on the table. Can somebody match Kenneth's donation?
Let me say one more thing.
Sure.
Because Faraji Muhammad is very sought after by television people. So we got to get him there at WPFW now.
Oh my gosh.
Before we lose him.
Oh my God.
You're right, Kenneth. You're right.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hot
that's
commodity.
the realest thing I ever heard, man.
Hot commodity.
Hey, Kenneth, thank you so much, brother. Real talk. I really appreciate it. And we make sure that hopefully we got all the information from you from our student volunteers. But thank you. $25 for my man Kenneth, getting the ball rolling. Can we match him? That's all I'm asking. Can we match Kenneth? For my loyal listener and callers, can we match you tonight? Can you match my man Kenneth? Can we do that? All right, so in a few minutes, we're just kind of get into that space, because I don't want Bakari to drop her announcement about what she can do for this situation. So 410-319-8888. If you want to have a conversation, 1-855-WEAA-889 is the number to have for us to gain your donation tonight. Let's talk a little bit about this. Because we talk about women's issues. Megyn Kelly.
Ooh,
Megyn Kelly. Can we talk about Megyn Kelly?
Yeah,
now,
we can.
The thing that most people don't know about you is that you really are a student of Black history.
And
And
I didn't go to Morgan, but yeah, I studied Black Studies.
Black Studies, Morgan State University.
I did not go to Morgan.
I'm sorry.
No. My parents did. Both my parents did.
There we go. There we go. Don't worry about it. You're bear.
Right.
You're bear. But what are we seeing in this situation? Megyn Kelly, I'm going to ask my producer. We're going to play the clip in a few minutes of what Miss Kelly has to say. But I want us to talk about it because she had made some comments about blackface.
Right.
So I think that this is a perfect time for us to understand that history, because part of that conversation, right, is that she made these comments and people went crazy on social media and of course in the regular media. And she put out an apology about, not being as politically correct.
Which means I made a mistake and said that in front of other people when I was just supposed to say that
most
back
people
at the
say
house.
that in the context in which she made the statements, that she was doing the kind of like the round table. And that the round table in the course of that conversation about Halloween costume. But this is a big conversation, big conversation, because in the midst of that conversation about Megyn Kelly, there's another conversation about whether white people should allow white children to wear Black Panther Halloween costume in particular.
Listen, to me, I think that there's so many ways to celebrate other cultures without being disrespectful and without being lazy. As a matter of fact, I posted a image today on the Her Sweet Release Instagram page, right? And Halloween is coming up. Posted one of our followers posted last year. They were, what's his name? Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And they put on, a fake facial hair and hair extensions, blah, 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 dressed up as this character. And to me, it's tastefully done. It's tastefully done. You can't change your skin, but you can put, and everything about the costume is believable, right? To me, if your child wants to dress up as T'Challa, make sure you can say that brother's name correctly.
Right.
You know, put that costume on them and let them live their best lives. That's cool.
Right.
And then after that, you know, to me, I just don't think that I think that at this point, white supremacists are lazy. So to me, if you go scroll up, but I think at the end of the day, I think it's just lazy to me, and I think that it's lazy and it's egregious. I look at Megyn Kelly as someone that I think she speaks for a lot of people. She shares what their mindsets are, right? But to me, you're perpetuating a stereotype when you wear blackface, and I think more importantly, when you do that, it perpetuates the negative stereotypes, right? The negative opinions that white folks have about black people. And then it's like on the surface, I think people can easily say that that's, you know, we're overreacting or it's not that deep. But the history of this country is that white opinions equal legal or illegal public policy.
Right.
So if you have this opinion about a black person that's lazy or dumb or stupid or violent or, you know, unnecessarily aggressive or inhumane, all of those things in totality equal some form of public policy that we as black people have to deal with. So to me, it just becomes a very, very, very slippery slope. And I just think she was wrong, you know, but I think it's a catch-22 because I think she was wrong. But at the same time, to me, I'm like, well, I think it's great that she slipped up and said it in public.
Right.
Rather than
Rather than
pretending that she feels otherwise.
Here's the conundrum that I found myself in when we have these moments, because this is a moment, right? The conundrum is we don't take the time to learn about that history. We don't take the time to understand why that is such a sore spot or a sensitive part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about Al Jolson. We don't talk about Birth of a Nation, the original from D.W. Griffith,
right?
And how
how impactful
they characterized black people,
and how it shocked white imaginations, right?
And how it shocked white, and how that film in particular was the first major blockbuster of the emerging and ever growing